You begin with a completely blank screen, your only option being a small play button in the middle of your monitor. Upon clicking it, you are greeted with a voice in
Okay,
the game's main
time to figure
menu.
out what's on this thing.
This is Inscryption, and that voice you just heard was Luke, and the main person I want to talk about this video. Hello, I am Lute. I sometimes make videos about topics I find interesting, mostly for myself, since I know a lot of people won't be seeing my videos anyways, but if you would like to tag along, consider liking and subscribing. Also, let me know why you agree or disagree with me in the comments. If you clicked on this video, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you're already familiar with Inscryption, but if you aren't, here's a quick refresher. Inscryption is a 2021 indie card game developed by Daniel Mullins and published by Devolver Digital. The game has you take the role of Luke Carter, an amateur collectible card YouTuber, as he records himself playing through Inscryption. Inscryption being a mysterious card game he found on a floppy disk buried in the woods nearby that hides some dark secrets. Was that a bit much? Well, don't worry. All you really need to know for now is that Inscryption, for all intents and purposes, is just an adventure horror game with a killer atmosphere. That also has deck building and card battling built into it. Oh, and an ARG tied to it. This part's actually going to be important in a second. Now, I actually won't be going into story specifics or even ARG specifics, since there is a multitude of videos doing a much better job than I ever could. No, today I'm going to be talking about something that's been bothering me since my very first playthrough back in 2021. Something I think is a problem with the game that I really didn't find anyone talking about. Well, Loot, is this a really big problem that can ruin the game for somebody? No, not really. It's a very small detail that's blink and you'll miss it. But damn it, this thing has been living in my mind rent-free for almost 4 years, and I want to talk about it. So as I said earlier in the video, today I'm going to be focusing on Luke, and why I think the game would have been a lot better without him. Now, I'm not saying to get rid of the ARG, or even get rid of Luke. I know that the old data in Luke is crucial to his Inscryption's identity and story, so those can stay. I'm just saying that the way the game went about including Luke was pretty bad. I think it's better if I just show you. So let me set the scene. Imagine this is your first time playing Inscryption. You saw one of your favorite YouTubers begin playing it, and not wanting to spoil your own experience, you decide to stop watching and play the game yourself. So, dimming the lights of your room, you settle in to play for the night. Past the title screen, you will be greeted with the game's main menu. Here you will notice something odd, as the only option presented to you is to continue an already existing game, with the new game option being blocked out completely, despite this being your first time playing Inscryption. So, without having any other option, you decide to hit continue game. Upon loading in, you will be met with a mysterious figure. No introductions are necessary as you are thrust straight into the game's tutorial. Here, the shadow figure will teach you the basics of the game, like playing squirrels, using them as blood sacrifices to play other creatures, and dealing damage. All this gameplay is quite simple to pick up, but is beyond the scope of this video, since that's not what I'm going to be talking about today. Upon beating the tutorial, the figure wastes no time thrusting you into an actual run, where you will learn more about the mechanics of the game and how you can improve your deck. Whether that be something as simple as adding more cards to your deck, or something more interesting like sacrificing some cards to make other cards stronger. You get a few lucky draws, but in the end, you end up dying on your first run. You can't see much as the mysterious figure drags you into a different room of the dark cavern you had found yourself in. The mysterious figure explains that before you perish, they would like a memento to remember you by. You are then forced to create a death card from a combination of the creatures in your deck, drawing from them its cost, its stats, and finally, its abilities. You give the mysterious figure your name, which will be the name displayed atop the death card. They take your picture, and you die, ending your run. Then, you continue playing. You keep going on runs, each one getting a little further than the last, and even if you don't know what's happening with the story just yet, you're having fun. You learn a few new mechanics, take a few dives, and slowly get better at the game. As you continue playing, you will solve mysteries around the cabin, slowly revealing more and more information. The atmosphere is oppressive, and the sense of mystery is great. You've lost a few times by now, but during your next run, a bit of a miracle happens. You're drawing hot, or beating your opponent handily, and you make it to the first boss, the Prospector. His mechanics catch you off guard, and despite it being a close match, you manage to overcome the first boss and move on to the second map. You even get to pick a rare card, something you haven't seen up to this point. With your rare card in tow, you manage to push through the second map even faster, meeting the Angler, the game's second boss. His gimmicks are tricky, and the battle is hard, but despite it all, you manage to persevere and beat him. You're on a roll, but sadly, the third map marks your demise, as a few unlucky draws finally puts an end to your dream run. Your next few runs, however, they aren't as lucky. The encounters are hard, and you're not getting the cards you need. No matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to get to the third map like you did before. But along the way, you solve some puzzles, get some lore, and meet some new friends. You also figure out a few tricks, like how for some reason your hand always starts with at least one card that's worth 1 blood. So, armed with all of this knowledge, you set out on one more run. As you start going through this run, you start feeling really good. You draw that OP death card you made a while back, completely destroy normal encounters, make some other OP combinations of symbols you're really proud of, and before you know it, you're at the Prospector, and this time, you're ready for him. You're pumped for this rematch, and you've been waiting for it a long time after all those losses. So, with your deck in hand and your head held high, you get ready to fight him. Let's do this.
I'm so sick of this boss.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did that catch you off guard? Cause it certainly caught me off guard back in 2021. That right there was Luke. And if you're anything like me, that would have completely ruined your immersion had you been playing the game. If you remember back in the beginning of the video, I did say you were playing as Luke Carter. And Luke? Well, Luke likes to voice his reactions about the game sometimes. Pretty much always for the worse. And these interactions are what I want to focus on today. I hate these reactions so much. They constantly took me out of my immersion during my first playthrough for an otherwise amazing game. Actually, here, have another example. I'm gonna sprinkle these throughout the video so you can get the idea. In this clip, I'm fighting the Angler. I'm having a great time with my run. Normally, I struggle with the second phase of this boss. However, this time, I cruise past the first phase and I'm excited for the second. But, as I deal enough damage to trigger the second phase...
Die already!
I mean, why? What does this add to the player experience? Best case scenario, the player feels the same, and Luke is just stating the obvious. In worst case scenario, and a way more likely option, is that Luke just takes you out of your immersion completely. I mean, I hate these reactions from Luke so much that, for one, I'm making this video, and for two, I went out of my way to play through all of Inscryption again, just so I could find as many of these reactions as I could and record them. Since I guess I'm the only guy online that even cares about them. I mean, seriously, you go out looking for these things online and you will find nothing. Normally, for this type of game, you would already expect someone to have made a compilation that has all of Luke's reactions recorded, right? But no, there's nothing like that online, and trust me, I looked. The wiki barely even mentions them, and I couldn't find anyone online talking about it. So, I guess, here we are. If anyone's gonna talk about it, it might as well be me. You know what, while we're here, have another example. During this part of the game, a reactor's melting down, and you have to deal enough damage to stop it from exploding, before you run out of turns. Every notch here indicates 1 damage point, and you win when you fill up the bar. Simple, really. Anyways, I start out confident, but as the turns start ticking down, I find myself more and more worried that I simply won't deal enough damage. Finally, once my final turn comes around, I play the only card I can, not even sure if I'm gonna win. After this, I take a good look at the cards in my hand and the ones on the board. Then, I look at my cards and their stats, I look at the counter to see how much damage I need, and I double, triple, and quadruple check that I am indeed going to be fine. Once I verify this fact, I take a sigh of relief and then end my turn, happy that I barely just won.
Come on! Fuck!
What? Me winning was never in question by this point. By the time Luke says this, you already won. And you know you've won. So what's the point of him saying that here? These things constantly take you out of your immersion, and he comes at the worst times too. Look, Inscryption thrives on its horror mystery vibe, and the fear often comes from the unknown. You don't know what's gonna happen next. But when Luke vocalizes confusion or surprise, it can lessen the impact by literally spoon-feeding the player's reaction instead of just letting them feel it naturally. Let's take a look at another example. In Inscryption, there's a hidden mechanic that the community has dubbed the fair hand mechanic. In Act 1, it makes it so that your starting hand always has at least one card that costs 1 blood, if available. During this run, I was using this mechanic to win the game, but upon beating a boss, I was prompted to choose a rare card. With all other options being terrible, I reluctantly chose Mantis God, knowing that it was going to screw with my deck's synergy and I was going to have to get rid of it the first chance I got.
Yeah, always pick Mantis God.
No, Luke, you don't always pick Mantis God. Luke, you make me angry, Luke. Oh, and by the way, yes, Mantis God did end up costing me this run. Surprisingly, not because of the fair hand mechanic, I drew into my beehive just fine, but because the angler took it and killed me with it. Still, you don't always pick Mantis God. You know what? Here, have another one. During this part of the game, you're creating your own card. The game gives you a lot of freedom with this, so you can make your cards quite broken, so most players will do exactly that. So here you are, feeling proud of yourself for having made a broken card, and before you can even look at it...
This card is OP!
Yes, Luke, thanks for stating the obvious. Really appreciate it there. I mean, there's really not a lot to say, to be honest. I just wanted to rant about the unnecessary comments Luke makes while playing Inscryption. And like I said, the ARG elements are fine. Not my cup of tea, but they're fine. It's just, why did they have to add such an annoying little detail? Here's the final boss of Act 1. To get here, you most likely died plenty of times. You've learned the game's mechanics and figured out what works and what doesn't. The fight is hard and intense, but with enough luck, you manage to push through and somehow win. But before you can even process this information...
Oh my, I think I just beat him!
I mean, why? Just why? At least let me relish in my victory a little bit before shoving the ARG in my face. I'm definitely making mountains out of molehills here, since it really does seem like I'm the only guy online to even talk about this. But Inscryption was a game that I really loved, and these things genuinely brought down my first playthrough, and I've been wanting to talk about it for so long. Inscryption is a game that builds its atmosphere slowly and outstandingly, really making you feel the tension of the cards being played and sometimes winning on pure luck. And it's during these times of extreme tension or relief, like just barely being able to make it to the final boss, that the game just goes,
Well, looks like I'll have to beat him again.
oh yeah, I guess so. Thank you, Luke. Here I was thinking about just sitting there and dying, actually. Thanks for reminding me that I gotta defeat the final boss. Cheers. Inscryption didn't need Luke, at least not in this capacity. He only serves to ruin the atmosphere of your first playthrough, and annoying during any subsequent ones, so I just had to talk about it, even after all these years.
What is this?
Shut up, Luke! Thanks for watching. If you had fun, consider liking and subscribing. While I was definitely playing up my disdain for this video, if you liked hearing me rant, feel free to check out my other video. It's way more substantial than this one. Though, truth be told, I have no idea when I'm gonna make another one. But hey, stay tuned. Take care, and have a wonderful day.